What do I do when my boss wants all the credit? What do I do? And what do I do when I've got a young individual that has a lot of potential, but they're not really taking advantage of it? They're not motivated to make things happen. What do I do then? So many kids these days miss out on the fact the correlation between working and studying and pushing yourself to the results that you get. It's what I think hurts kids is they don't connect what they're doing now with the future. I know I didn't. When I was a kid, I was, what's the future? It's tomorrow. The future is, the weekend. You don't realize, you can actually set yourself up. What you're doing today is connected to the future. Okay, once you make that connection, you say, maybe I'll study, maybe I'll train, maybe I'll work out harder. You can start doing those things because you can improve and you can have a better life. Sure, are there some kids that are gonna be able to do pull-ups out of the gate? Sure. Are there some kids that can learn their times tables really quickly? Sure. You're not gonna be great at everything, but you can get better as long as you have the discipline, put your mind to it, and are willing to work hard. If I'm manipulating you, I'm trying to get you to do something. If I'm leading you, I'm trying to get you to do something. And many of the tools are very similar. So what's the difference between me leading you and me manipulating you? It's very easy for me to answer that question. If I'm manipulating you, I'm trying to get you to do something that's gonna benefit me. If I'm leading, I'm trying to get you to do something that's gonna benefit you, it's gonna benefit the team, and it's gonna benefit the mission. So for me, those are too easy. Those are too easy. It's real obvious. And by the way, if I'm a manipulator, I can get away with that for a little while, but eventually you're gonna look at me for what I am. You're gonna see that the maneuvers I'm making, the tools I'm using, I'm utilizing those tools for my own benefit. And as soon as you see that, you won't fully support me. You won't. The same goes for when I'm trying to make you do something good for yourself and for the team. You're gonna see that too. And you're gonna say, he actually cares about me. That's what he's doing this for. And when you know I care about you, you'll do anything for me. I mean, that's what it boils down to. I want to give you hard criticism. How do I give you hard criticism? The first thing I have to do is make sure that you understand I care about you, which is not easy to do, and it's not always obvious. But if you know that more than anything else, what I want is for you to be successful, when I say, hey Tom, I'm looking at the outcome of the last project, and you were like 3 weeks past the time, I think there's some things that we could do to kind of make you a little bit more efficient in leading these things. If you know that my number one thing is that I care about you, you're gonna be all ears. To an extent. Because guess what percentage of the world is truly open for criticism? Oh, it's tiny. There's so few people that are truly open to criticism.
How do you gain influence and respect? Like, what's that process?
If I want to gain the ability to influence you, well, then what I have to do is give you the ability to influence me. And when I say, hey, here's what we're trying to make happen. Here's what I want to do. And you say, well, I think we should do it like this. You know what I should say? Okay, well, let's take a look at that. The more I allow you to influence me, the more open your mind gets for me to influence you. Respect, same thing. If I treat you like you're a plebe, like you don't matter, you're not going to respect me at all. But if I treat you with respect and respect you, when you try and talk to me and I listen and I respect what you're saying and I try and understand it fully, then your respect for me is going to go up as well. So when you want to earn respect, give respect. When you want to earn influence, give influence. When you want to earn trust, give trust. All those three are related. There's a word that people bring up a lot, and I think they're pretty interchangeable, and it's relationships and trust, right? Trust is built on relationships. Relationships are built on trust. If you don't trust me, we don't really have a relationship. The more deeply you trust me, the better relationship we have. When I say that relationships are the most important thing in getting things done, when I look back at my career in the Navy and the SEAL teams, just about every single thing that I ever did was through relationships. So the amount of times that I looked at one of my subordinates and said, no, you will do what I'm saying because I'm in charge. I don't think I actually honestly ever said that one single time. I think it was always, hey, this is what we got to get done. How do you think we should do it? Do you think this is smart? And it was all based on relationships and up the chain of command too. There was never a time that one of my bosses said, hey, Jocko, shut up and you do what I told you to do. There was never a time that one of my bosses said that to me. There was, if I had a question, if I pushed back, they gave me legitimate answers. If they didn't have good answers, then they would modulate or change what it is that they were telling me to do. So how do I build trust with you? So if you're above me in the chain of command, if you ask me to do something as my boss, I do it. And I do it well. And I do it consistently. And I go above and beyond what you ask. And if you want me to deliver this project by this date, I deliver it earlier and I deliver it to the best of my ability above and beyond what you expected. And you say, oh wow, when I ask Jocko to do something, he actually does it. And that's where it starts. It starts with that right there, with me performing, me offering advice, me taking what you asked me to do and doing it. That's the number one thing. If we flip those roles, and now I'm in charge of you, how do I build trust with you? Well, what I do is I give you a project. And instead of me giving you a project and then saying, hey, here's how I want you to do this and here's how I want you to do the next part, instead I say, hey, here's a project, let me know how you want to do it. And then you go figure out how you want to get done. And I don't micromanage you and I don't ask you a million questions about and tell you, no, don't do it like that, do it like this. I let you do it. And what does that tell you? That tells you that I trust you. I trust you. And when I trust you, you start to trust me. And by the way, if something goes wrong, instead of me jumping down your throat and hanging you out to dry and making you an example in front of everyone, I say, hey, let's figure out what went wrong. Did I not support you well enough? Did I not give you what you needed? And so you realize, oh, he's not gonna hang me out to dry. He's gonna give me the support. He's gonna try and teach me if something goes wrong instead of try and drop the hammer on me. Now, when I ask questions, this is a tool, but it's also legitimate questions. So when I say, hey, Tom, here's the project I want you to get done. Can you take a look at it and tell me how you want to get it done? And you come back to me, 3 days later, and you say, hey, boss, I was looking at this thing and it's just not possible. And I don't say, well, actually it is possible because I've already thought it through. Here's how you need to do it. Instead I go, well, what do you think our real challenges are? And then you say, well, we can't get the supplies in time. And then you say, well, and also we don't have enough manning. And I say, okay, well, what's taking the supplies so long to get here? And you say, well, they're coming across the country on a truck. And so it's gonna take a week and a half for them to get here. And we don't have enough people because it's gonna take 190 man hours in this amount of time. And I only have 3 guys. So it's impossible. And I go, is there any other way to ship stuff across the country? I guess we could fly, but it's gonna be more expensive. Oh, okay, well, how much more expensive? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And so eventually, you're gonna come to the solution. You're gonna come to the solution. And I'm gonna be happy that you come to the solution. Or there's a chance that you actually say, hey, Jocko, it's not possible, and here's why. And you tell me something that I didn't foresee. Because I'm at a higher level, I'm elevated, I'm overseeing 14 different projects. You just got one. And when you dig in and you pull the thread, you realize it can't be done. I go, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. Okay. I'm legitimately asking these questions. I'm not doing this, okay, well, we're gonna get you there and that's what's gonna happen. I already know the outcome. No, I think I know the outcome, but I'm not sure of it. You know how many times I'm sure of what the outcome's gonna be? Not very often. So that the truth is I'm being totally transparent. I'm asking legitimate questions. I think I know the answers. I think they're gonna lead to the right place. It's okay to let that run its course. So most of the time, people don't want to get that direct feedback. And in fact, sometimes when I hear people say, I'm just gonna get direct with this person. I'm just gonna let them know exactly what they're screwing up. Almost always, that's a bad idea. Now, and there's some people that sit there and they say, well, that's weak or whatever, but it's not. Because I'm gonna get the message to you, I'm just gonna deliver it in a way that you accept it more, that your mind is open to it. That's what I'm trying to do as a leader, as a friend, as someone that cares about you. Hey, look, I need to get this information to you. Now, this will escalate over time. And if I've tried, if I said, hey, hey Tom, I think we could do this better, and you still fail. And I say, hey Tom, maybe you should try this, and you still fail. And then I say, hey Tom, I think this is the way you should go, and you still fail. I'm gonna get to a point where I'm saying, listen Tom, this isn't working. The way you are doing this is not working. And I told you this, and I told you that, and I told you the other thing, and what I'm trying to say is that you need to change this part of your game. It is hurting you. Almost never do you get someone that is so thick-headed that they're not gonna listen to you. And when they are, it's because they have a giant ego. It's because their ego, they can't see the fact that, oh, I'm making some real bad mistakes. And by the way, when you've delivered them that final message of like, hey, here's exactly what you're screwing up, what they say is, no, you just don't know what it's like in my shoes. And that's when you know you can't help them. So you have to detach from your emotions, you have to get control of them, and you have to make sure that you lead your men in the right direction so they don't do something that is not the right thing to do. The madder you get, the more aggressive you are, the more you're gonna get beat down, and the worse it's gonna be. So you have to learn to control your emotions, no doubt about it. And then what you have to do is you have to start practicing it all the time. You have to start paying attention. The red flags that go up when I start raising my voice at you, I go, oh, that's your emotion, get mad. And for me, like the minute I feel some sort of anger, some sort of jealousy, some sort of frustration, most of the time I go, oh, you're getting mad, that's your ego. You're getting emotional about this. Take a step back and listen to what the other person's saying. Take a step back and try and see it from their perspective. Take a step back and try and understand what they're trying to say. Just help people learn the lessons that I've learned so they don't have to learn them for themselves. There's a lot of mistakes that I've made. I've been blessed that I've been very lucky to have been through what I've been through, to been around the people that I've been around, to learn the things that I've been blessed and lucky enough to be able to learn, and I don't want to hoard them. I want to give them away. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing and trying to help people as much as I can.